After one of the more brutal episodes of the show, Marshals Season 1 Episode 10, Playing with Fire, appears to be poised to put Kayce Dutton's team in yet another difficult situation. In contrast to the typical Case of the Week format, Marshals Season 1 Episode 9 began immediately after Andrea's capture, transforming the hour into a rescue mission filled with unresolved tension, nasty team politics, and old war scars. The plot of Episode 10 now centers on a prison bus crash, escaping inmates, wounded victims, and ghosts from the past. This sounds like the kind of situation where personal history and professional obligations could clash. The Andrea rescue plot, which started in Episode 8, Blowback, was concluded in Marshals Season 1 Episode 9, In Low Places. The hours started with an instant shooting, followed by the team regrouping after discovering that Randall's people had the upper hand, rather than starting with a case-heavy cold open and moving into a new case. Because Andrea did not wait patiently to be rescued, she became the highlight of the hour. She retaliated, used her keen intuition, and turned her incarceration into an issue for Randall soldiers. While Belle, Miles, Pete, and the others continued to expose old wounds that were obviously still bleeding, Kayce and Garrett's recon added movement. The facts of the recap also raised concerns about Belle's secret past, Pete's injuries, Garrett's PTSD, Kayce's bravery off-book, and potential love chemistry among teammates. Kayce might have to make yet another tough command choice. His rule-bending was presented in Episode 9 as bravery rather than recklessness, but the prison bus crash in Episode May 10th tests whether that instinct benefits the squad or causes more problems. It might get more difficult to conceal Pete's physical condition. A crash response case could reveal whether he is fit enough for field work, and there were hints in Episode 9 that his injury is still hurting him. Belle's secret history might become more apparent. A case involving ancient spirits might provide the authors with an easy way to uncover the emotional burden that was hinted at in the previous episode. After proving herself, Andrea might be given additional power. In Episode 9, she wasn't merely a victim. Episode 10 might treat her as someone who has gained greater trust within the squad because of the fortitude with which she conducted herself. Garrett's future with the group is still unclear. Although his return has emotional significance, his trauma cannot be disregarded. The risk of placing him back in dangerous settings, too, soon must be addressed if he stays close to field activity. Miles might at last be given a more focused job. The split-team format of Episode May 10th provide him more freedom to act rather than just circling cases and Pete's conflict, as he occasionally felt marginalized in Episode 9. A two-front episode could result from the prison bus crash. The show should be able to mix pursuit scenes with emotional pressure, because some marshals will probably pursue escapees while others stay behind to assist injured persons. Internal conflict within the team could become unavoidable. Episode 10's emergency setting might either force unity or disclose further splits, while Episode 9 mainly relied on existing disagreements and tight pairings. Compared to Episode 9, Marshals Season 1 Episode 10 has all the makings of a tighter, more pressing hour. The team's personal baggage lends the plot bite, while the prison bus tragedy provides a clear exterior catastrophe. If you missed watching Marshals Episode 9, here is a quick recap of everything that happened. In Episode 9 of Marshals, Kayce and his group engaged in combat with one of the Duttons' long-standing adversaries after Andrea was abducted by Randall Clegg. In addition to trying to save one of his teammates, Kayce felt that he was partly to blame for this revolution because of his family's long-standing enmity with the Cleggs. This made the mission very personal for him. Convinced that their former teammates' tactical abilities could aid them in breaking into Randall's complex, Kayce dragged Garrett, guest star Riley Green, into the operation against Cal's desires. As it turned out, Garrett guided them to a hidden tunnel that Randall's army of fools used to enter and exit covertly. Kayce sent Garrett back to the base just before they launched their last attack because he sensed that he wasn't fully prepared to return a fight despite that victory. Further praise should be given to Belle for locating Randall's daughter and discovering the location of the live stream, to Miles for devising a diversionary strategy that gave Garrett and Kayce more time, and to Andrea for being the most challenging prisoner possible and eliminating a number of Randall's goons in the process. Randall was ultimately apprehended by the Marshals in his living room with a gun to his head, but they were not going to release him so quickly. After he was hauled into custody, he had a terrifying conversation with Kayce. Kayce remarked, "I really wish my father were still around so he could have witnessed Montana rid itself of the Cleggs." Randall said, "You may have wiped out my kin, but my family's tree blossomed today, and my legacy is expanding just like the Duttons." Throughout the mission, Belle and Cal remained at odds, with Cal declining to respond to any of her probing inquiries. At one point, she addressed him directly about his neck, but he swiftly shifted the topic, saying that his convoluted past with Garrett was the only thing bothering him. Even Miles sensed that something wasn't right with Cal, so he encouraged Belle to utilize her position as work wife to find out. By the end of the hour, Cal was still reluctant to share, but Belle reminded him, "Whatever's going on, you can talk to me." Belle, good luck with that. Cal's emotions are the only thing he can avoid more successfully than gunshots. Garrett was one guy Cal warmed up to this week, albeit very marginally. Cal didn't like Garrett joining the rescue effort at first, but in the end, he realized that they wouldn't have been able to succeed without his help. Cal said to Garrett, "You helped us avoid the worst today. Thank you." At the end of the hour, "I'm still haunted by Roner. Even if it was messed up, it's often easier to accept than what transpired between us." Garrett, on the other hand, wasn't at all angry with Kayce for benching him during the mission. He came to the realization that he doesn't truly miss battle as a result of the entire experience. He is accepting Kayce's invitation to stay in Montana a little while longer because he misses having a team to help him. This is the moment where we have to ask, are Kayce and Andrea truly close teammates? Or is there something going on between them that may be far, far below the surface? At the conclusion of the hour, Kayce moved away to have time with his thoughts while the rest of the crew sat by the fire and listened to Garrett's little song. He replied that he didn't want to be by himself when Andrea joined him. Kayce wagered that Andrea would fail to see stars like this back east during their little stargazing session. The jury's still out regarding life in Montana, according to Andrea, but as long as I am here, I'm glad I'm on the team with you. It was almost like seeing Kayce and Monica again as they stood there against that breathtaking Montana scenery. We wouldn't mind Dolly Weaver having some competition, but if this doesn't work out, we'll be content with Kayce and Andrea just being close friends who can rely on one another in the industry. How do you feel? For additional Marshals release guides, recaps, and streaming updates, leave your comments below and follow Screenstorm.